Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is TMI reaching you live from Benin City, Edo State, South Nigeria. I want to quickly start off with what is going on in Edo State, starting from the home front. Yes, it seems to be crisis brewing in OREDO APC. People have been talking about this. Some of the opinion that yes, an APC chieftain, Lawrence Okar, is being high-handed, so to speak, that is taking the law into his own hand. That is the one that would say a thing in the party and it come to pass, even if it's hurting the people or the generality of the party members. Some are even linking it to what transpired then to the change of the HOS that became the acting chairman. They replaced it with another people, like maybe he has a hand in it. They are just saying it that they don't want his hand, his grip over Oedo. That is one part. Another part is saying no, that part that they are speaking against Lawrence Oka, that they don't know what they are saying, that they are wrong, that Lawrence Oka is the best man for the job. He is the leader in Oedo. So talking about what he has achieved so far. So putting these two together, for a party to have two factions, is it encouraging for that particular political party? Do you feel that they are doing the right thing? Do you feel that they are really, really getting set for redemption or dissolution or destruction if it's not well handled? Yes, that's a question this morning. With me here in the studio, I have a right activist. He's no other person than Joseph Bale. Joseph, thank you so much for joining us on this morning on ITV. All right. And he said, we whenever introduce me as a political analyst, but you know him too well. Join me to welcome Dr. Andrew Omosefe. Thank you so much for being here.
It's always a pleasure being here.
Oh. All right, now join us virtually all the way from Abuja. I thought it was in Owa, but he said, no, Wilson, I'm in Abuja. Join me to welcome Fred Aleboro. Thank you so much for joining us, Fred, virtually.
Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, my respected comrades.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, from Benin, we have Prince Samuel Ehigato, aka Ras. Thank you so much for joining us. Ras, can you please unmute yourself? We can't hear you. If you can unmute yourself, please do that for us, okay? I'd like to introduce also, yes, a special assistant to Senator Nada. He's a politician, an entrepreneur, political analyst. Join me to welcome Derek Owago. Derek, it's a pleasure having you join us this morning, though virtually.
Thank you for having me. I'm actually not a special assistant. I'm a legislative assistant.
Oh, legislative assistant.
Presenting Edo South Senatorial District. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that correction. Legislative assistant to Senator representing Edo South Senatorial District. So I want to put the show on the road. Let's start off with what is happening in Oedo. APC seems to be like having factions right now. Some are saying little tier, if it's not well handled, can just lead to a very, very large, dangerous, and devastating gully. Let me start off with you, Joseph. What do you feel about this?
For me, I think it's expected, and I'm not surprised. Ordinarily, moving to the fact that this party, they are currently in government, and you know, ordinarily, power sharing has always been a problem in this part of the world. Understand? And everybody wants to have a feel of government. If you see the crisis brewing around the OREDO now, it's certainly not for the people. It's all about politicians who gets what, where, and how they get what. So for me, it's an interest-based fight. It's not a fight that is talking about development for the people. It's personal development for their particular self. And that's why it will continue to linger on, and it will snowball from one local government to the other. Just as we move towards the local government election, because if you listen to the postulations of those guys who did that press conference, they talked about power sharing, concentrating their efforts on the local government election that is coming forth, that the party chairman, the party secretary is trying to impose somebody on them, Cabros. Yes. So for me, I think more of this will happen in every other local government.
Are you expecting it to take a worrisome dimension,
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
All right. Well, let me go to Dr. Andrew Mosefe. You heard him. He said the secretary, Lawrence Oka, is the one heating up the polity, imposing aspirants or candidates on them. What do you feel about that?
Well, when you used two land terminologies that I don't agree with. First, you said there's crisis in OREDO APC. That is not true. And you are also saying that Lawrence Oka,
Now, I'm not saying report has it that.
Excuse me.
Yes. Because on the news.
Excuse me, you asked me a question.
Sure. Because no, you're beginning to rephrase my question.
Allow me to respond to your question.
Please respond.
All right. So, that Lawrence Oka is imposing candidates on people. Okay, in any case, I wouldn't have been available today. But when you said OREDO, I decided to come because that is my local government. I am a foundation member of the APC. Oh, you young, right? Okay, so I still have all of my party cards right from PDP to Advanced Congress of Democrats, to AC, to ACN, and then to APC. So I am, if we want to talk about APC as it is today, I think I'm in a better position to discuss these issues. And when you talk of those that actually formed the APC, those that led the APC in this state, through all of through the good times and then the challenging period we went through with the Obaseki, and now, you can't but mention certain names like Lawrence Oka, Pastor Isaiah, Dr. Odubu, and all of that. These were all guys who formed the party and who still ensure that the party remains strong today. Now, who are those people that made that press conference? I looked at the video, I saw the video last night, and I laughed. None of them there are members of APC. I struggled to see if I could identify any of the faces.
None of them?
None of them are members of the APC from OREDO local government. At least, like I told you, I am a foundation member of the APC, and I am from Ward 8 in OREDO local government, a ward I have been in since I was born. In fact, if you go to my ward, ask my ward chairman, Sonny Rabo, and the other, they will tell you that boy started small, very small boy. All right? So we are organic members who, have seen very different generations, and we are still there, all right? And by the grace of God, we are getting them. So if you look at, did they tell you the words they are from? The brandished party cards, right? I think I saw them. We do not use cards in APC. It is slip, party slip, because registrations are done online, and once you have finished your registration online, you are issued a slip. All right, I have my slip. Just that I could not lay hands on it this morning. I would have brought it for a show to you. We do not have cards in APC. We have slips. And so when they were brandishing party cards, I just laughed. Oh, obviously, these guys are paid agents, people who have been paid by certain persons, who are not bold enough to come out on air to speak for themselves. They are now using bunch of boys. These are boys now. I mean, how old are they? Look at the average age. Many of, if I may say, I'm not even sure the guy who I forgot. I don't even know his name. He's not a member of my party. He's not a member of my party from the local government. So I don't even know his name. And so for somebody like that to be used, to come out and say, Lawrence Oka is imposing people. And besides, they mentioned Gabros. The Gabros they are talking about, okay, no, I'm sure as the discussion we'll have time to talk about some of these persons. But what I'm trying to tell you is that Lawrence Oka has been a leader of the party. He remains a leader of the party. And he has not imposed anybody on the party. If you look at the spread of appointments, except you people are trying to indict Senator Okpebholo here, that is not fair in the distribution of his appointments. Because for
we are not in. There's not a bad opinion polls right now. Nowhere, though. Don't push it to.
Which opinion poll?
Don't push it to the studio.
Which
we
opinion
covered
poll?
both conference.
Which conference did you cover?
You say you saw one on
that
TV,
you
right?
covered the ones that boys that were organized by boys.
I'll come back
Are
to
those
you.
members of the party? Which leader of the party in Oredo did you see?
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you, Doc. I'll come back to you. Just watch your emotion. Calm down. I'll come back to you. Now let's move over to Abuja, where Fred is standing by. Remember that whenever fire wants to, start, it starts with just a little spark. And if it's not well handled, it may just engulf the entirety of a building or a structure. So, Fred, what do you feel about this?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, my respected comrade in the studio. And good morning again, Nigeria. You see, as far as APC is concerned, APC is a family, and whatever infraction that may be going on right now in Oredo, I think that the party leader, they are on top of it, and I have a privy to that. The party leaders, leadership is on top of that situation, and it will be resolved because even teeth and tongue, they do quarrel, and there must be a peaceful resolution. APC is not like any other party that have no um, endless crisis. After all, we don't even have a crisis. But however, as for the sake of position stickers and political those who want to seek political relevance unnecessarily, there has to be over seriousness. And this one is acceptable everywhere. But I can assure you, as a party man, also I understand what is happening, and I can assure you, and I can assure Nigerians that the APC Edo State is one, APC Oredo is one, and whatever it is, it will be resolved. There's no ambiguity at all, and there is nothing like mechanism in all these things. It's a crisis situation sort of, but it will be resolved. That is the situation. We are a big family. We are not disintegrating. We are not separating. There's no problem at all. It's a party matter. It will be resolved at the party level. Thank you.
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you, Fred. I'll definitely come back. Let's move over to Derek. Let's see what Derek really have to say about this, because for a group of persons, a political party to come out to give a press conference saying this is what they are feeling, this is what they are sensing, this is what they are, seeing that is not going down too well with them, they cried out. Another group said, no, what this group is saying is wrong, everything is cook and curry in APC. Don't forget what happened to PDP. We'll come back to that. Derek, what do you feel about this?
The issue is what we can liken to a 419 situation. APC is a leadership party, and there's hardly any crisis in the party. But from time to time, you hear, skirmishes here and there. But I can assure you that the APC is on its feet, and it's doing very well in relation to cohesion and yes, internal cohesion. And I can assure you there is hardly any crisis. But we cannot say the same of every other political party like the PDP, the APN, the ADC, and the LP, which is laden with a lot of crises here and there, starting with leadership tussle with the Labour Party and the very serious internal crisis that's rocking the PDP, the entire fabric of the PDP, which has led to and crystallized to very serious crisis, to the extent that their proposed convention built for November might not even happen, because Wike has given his condition, and we all know that Wike controls the south-south and the southeastern block of the PDP. And if this issue is not managed properly, it might lead to PDP not being able to field candidate for the 2027 election. The same applies to the Labour Party. If they continue to, not being able to resolve their crisis, then it might also lead to the Labour Party not able to also field candidate, because they have very serious part also going on in Labour Party. How about the ADC that appears to be a fortress for the various displaced politicians in the country? The ADC also have its own very serious leadership crisis. The ADC chairman of Borno State, the party chairman of the state, has come on air on several occasions to accuse David Mark and Arigbo Sola of hijacking the party. And as far as he is concerned, that they are not members of ADC, that there is a clear provision in their constitution that stipulates how people ought to join the party, and they have not followed that procedure. So as far as it's concerned, it does not recognize them. And to the extent that this matter have been taken to court, so they also might end up not having be able to fit candidate for 2027. But we don't want that. We don't want a one-party, affair in our polity. And we hope they'll be able to resolve their crisis soon. But for APC, we don't really have any crisis. We are able to manage ourselves. And I give kudos to the leadership of APC because the party is quite huge now, and it is expected that there will be a lot of crisis. But what we see here is not actually a crisis, but maybe an individual is disgruntled, may have paid some people to come on air, people that we don't even recognize, to come on air and begin to, blab. As far as I'm concerned, that's the way I see it. Thank you very much.
More and more interesting. Let's hear what Samuel Ehigato will have to say about it, and I'll bring Joseph in because right now you are saying there is no crisis. On one hand, you are saying there's crisis, everybody can be resolved. So where are we really? Samuel, over to you. OREDO, what is really going on? You saw the press briefing given by a group of persons because there is no smoke without fire. Samuel, over to you.
Thank you very much, Listen. The party is getting better. And told more requests from everyone.
I think the party secretary, Engineer Lawrence Oka, if we really want to speak about him, he's a man that stands like a father. Whenever an issue, you can go to his house, you can meet him in the office. He's always open and available to any situation that might come up. I know several times we have issues too. We go to his house and he addressed the issue. And so a man like that, if there are some certain party members that have issues or have grievances, probably maybe the way appointment was being distributed in their ward, I think they should have just taken it direct to him, because really sometimes the man is doing all his best to make sure that all this appointment gets to the ward the way it should be. But I think where we have issues is also with some party leaders in the ward. Like my ward, different appointment came. Unfortunately, we the ward members that have been there for over 8 years patiently, working hard to keep the party going, we have not been able to access the appointment. We only hear this appointment has gone to this person. This appointment has gone to this person. I think he, as a leader, as the number one leader of OREDO, should start looking into these complaints from the different wards in order for it not to brew into a such situation that we might start calling it crisis. But for me, at the moment, I don't believe it is crisis. I believe it's just some individuals that have grudges about the way the appointments are being distributed, the way it is going. It is not only in my ward, it is in several wards. I hear the same thing from other leaders too, complaining that they don't even know who these appointments are being given to. So I think, secondly, many people will not have to think, is our number one leader not aware of this? Is our number one leader not aware? Because he is a leader that has been with us, that has suffered with us. We believe he's not a leader that some leaders should be able to hijack the processes of the benefit of the war from. So I think this is why many people still believe that they should push the responsibility to him to go to look into the issue, saying that these people that are not members of APC, I'm not fully in support of that. There's no smoke without fire. There are some certain situations that really might have brought these discussions among some members and decide to go ahead to give their own press conference. Good. They might be just a minority. That lastly, a majority will have their way. And if you also see recently, the chairmen, the secretary, the executive of the OREDO, majority of all of them has voted a vote of confidence on him. So who are the people to say that he should not be there? I think we also leaders from the various world, we really trust in his capability. But I think we should also give an advice, because as a leader, as a father, the children have a right to advise him to look into some certain situations that might not be beneficiary to everybody, that could lead to a crisis. And you understand, because I saw a list out recently, discovering that most wards, appointments have really gone to almost every ward, except one or two, which means it is widely spread. But where the problem I had with that list, 3 of the appointments said to have come to Ward 2, for instance, where I come from, I really don't know those people. I've never seen them in my ward meeting. I've never met them. So when you're not giving such appointment out, definitely you will have grievances. People inside the ward too might not be openly to speak out before the leader because of not to be castigated or to feel that he's a rebellion. So such people will always find a means to pass this message to the leaders. I think that's what just happened. I think the leader, as our leader engineer Lawrence Oka, should not take this issue personally. He should look at it holistically and think about the whole situation and say, okay, who are these people? What is really going on? Call a general meeting, discuss the issue, settle the different grievances. I think APC is a leadership party. We respect our leaders very much. When they say the right thing, we accept it. When they say some certain things, we also sometimes protest against it. We have some certain situations in the past where leaders categorically said, this is the person we want to contest for an election. But at the end, the people decided, no, this is who we want. And that of the people won the primaries. So it is not always that impositions always win the situations at the end. We, the leaders from the grassroots, we have voice.
Okay.
The people, we have voice too. So I don't think it's a crisis that cannot be resolved. It's not
I'll
even
come
a
back
crisis,
to
it's just
you.
a grievance.
I'll come back to you, Samuel. I'll come back to you, Prince. Just hold on. You see, when this thing started, you say no crisis, no trouble, no, but it's beginning to come out gradually. Well, Joseph, from what Samuel opined, as in, of course, Fred, don't forget to mention Derek. Is there no trouble really in APC, OREDO precisely? Because from what Samuel said, it is coming from the angle of appointments.
Yeah,
Many of them, they are not happy. Take it up from there.
Okay, I will go by this. They say, there's a parable. They say, the woman whose child is abused can gladly answer the call among people can only be given a Now, whether you like it or not, from all the postulations I've heard just now, it's obvious that these young people who did that press conference may not have the kind of weight they are expecting, probably because maybe they are not too known. And if you see what they mentioned, they talked about consigned APC members. And also, for me, there's no smoke without fire. Those guys were smoke screen. You understand? They are being used by people. We agree. But these people that are being used, you understand? You cannot tell us that they are not members of the APC. They may not be big members, you understand? But they are
carrying members of the party.
That party. Now, to cut the long story short, for them to even address such a world press conference, you can see the numbers of media stations that was there. It shows that people are also funding them, whether they like it or not. We all know how media conferences have been organized in this part of the world and how it costs. So those guys, they are being sponsored by people. And now those people that are sponsoring them, they are also top members of
the APC. Is that what you're saying right now?
Yes, they are top members of the APC. They are sponsoring those guys. Those guys did not just wake up and use their money to address such a world press conference. So for me, what I think is that this issue should be managed, because it is little drop of water that makes the mighty ocean, and little crimes make up big crime. The way this issue is going, if they are not able to resolve, because what they are trying to say, they talk about lopsided appointment, and it's an issue that we should not look at the messenger, we should also look at the message. These guys have passed the message that the issue of appointment are lopsided, that most of the appointments are going to one section of the ward in the 12 wards comprising of OREDO local government, that these things should be looked into. So for me, in leadership, you must have a heart for empathy. You understand? And you must have goals to make certain decisions. I think the state party secretary of the APC should be able to now, just like this Mr. Fred said, to call an enlarged meeting. How have you been able to distribute these appointments that have come into the local government? That is equity, that is fairness. So the party should be fair to every ward, because no ward is more superior to the other ward. They should be fair to each and every member of the party.
So you're saying there's no fairness right
There's
now?
no fairness. That's what they're saying. And the same thing, the APC people have already opined.
Over now to you, Dr. Andrew. You heard what they said. They said it's a crisis situation. You said there's no crisis, but you said it can be managed. From what someone said, they said they've seen the list, they've just seen appointment, though you acknowledge the fact that the secretary, Lawrence Oka, is their father, is a group, but there are issues that should be handled. For instance, the appointment. They'll give someone an appointment, you know where the person came from. All of a sudden, this is your leader, come on. Don't you think there's trouble brewing? Are you saying that the members of the APC?
I want to maintain.
Yes.
I want to reiterate that as far as OREDO APC is concerned, as far as Edo State APC is concerned, there is no crisis. And I say that with all form, of emphasis. There is no crisis in OREDO APC. And
so if there are no crisis, what do we have?
We do not have it. We just have, in fact, like I said, these guys who addressed that press conference are not members of the APC. Let's even assume that there are leaders that are funding them. All right? If you have a complaint, why hide behind somebody? In fact, to even go outside the party to go and hire boys. These are, like I said, they are not members of the party. They were brandishing cards. We do not have cards in APC. What we have is party slip. And so for them to come out and be brandishing cards, these are not members of our.
Are you not saying that there are no aggrieved members in your party?
They may be aggrieved members, even in your family. You have even among your siblings. You still have one or two.
And you think that cannot lead to crisis or situation?
What I am telling you is that as at today, there's no crisis in OREDO. And when you talk about appointments, lopsided appointments, I wonder what you mean by that. For as far as I'm concerned, Senator Monday Okpebholo has been fair in the distribution of his appointments so far. Now, take OREDO, because we are discussing OREDO. Look at Ward 1, Ward 2, Ward 3. In fact, Ward 7 that Lawrence Oka hails from has 2 appointments. One SSA and then one supervisory councillor. One supervisory councillor and one SOPADEC. And they are saying that even the SOPADEC was given to his son. I said, what is wrong with that? If me and my father will belong to the same political party, my father is the leader of the party, yeah? He worked in his own capacity. Just like we have, even currently, my own father is a member of the APC, he's a leader in my work. He worked, and you cannot say I did not work for the party. So if my father had been patronized, it does that also mean I cannot also be patronized, even after working for the party? So if Lawrence Oka, with in his own right, worked for the party, and his son worked for the party, are you saying his son cannot benefit because the father is a leader of the party? What takes away his right to benefit from the party? And if you look at the spread of appointment, like I said, even Ward 7 as today has 2. My own Ward 8, has 3. We have the MD of Edo Line, we have the member of the Fire Service Board, and then we have the supervisory councillor from Ward 8. The same thing with all other wards, apart from maybe 1 or 2 wards that do not have appointments currently. And I know that very soon, because Senator Monday Okpebholo is still in the process of rolling out appointments, so no one can actually say this place has been neglected, because appointments are still you know. So okay. What I am saying, excuse me, let me land on this. What I am saying is that the appointments have been evenly distributed so far. And so when people now say, okay, House of Assembly is in Ward 7, I said that is not an APC. You cannot categorically say that House of Assembly ticket was APC, because the man who came to join APC got that ticket on the platform of the Labour Party. And so it wasn't Lawrence Oka who influenced that appointment, that guy's ticket and all of that. You cannot also say that other persons who may have benefited one way or the other from their parties and came, you know, because they are in Ward 7, then other persons who have labored for the party and are in Ward 7 should not be patronized. You mentioned Gabros, or was it you that mentioned Gabros?
They mentioned in the conference that imposing. We'll come to that. Don't hold on. We'll come to that.
Because this issue, we really need to address it.
Now you know we need to address it.
No, we need to.
And you said there's no crisis.
No, there is no crisis. But I'm saying that we need to address it because of the way you guys are trying to project this thing to be.
Stop saying you guys. We are asking questions.
There is no crisis anywhere. So don't make it look like there is crisis. What do you know what crisis means?
Dr. Andrew.
Crisis, please.
Dr. Andrew.
Yes.
Anyway, I'll come back to you. Let's take a short break. We'll return. We'll continue the discussion. Do not go away.
TMI. Every opinion counts.
Thank you so much for staying with us, joining us. This is TMI. We're taking a look at the crisis rocking OREDO APC. Some are saying there's no crisis, but the situation must be resolved. So if there is nothing happening, how come they'll be crying out for saying resolve the situation? What is really going on? We heard from Joseph and of course Dr. Andrew. Let's get to hear from Fred. Fred, all the way from Abuja, I believe that you've heard the submission of Dr. Andrew and of course Joseph. There is something wrong for someone to come out. Some people funding the conference saying this is our position. We've been sidelined. I mean, do you think that there should be a call for a meeting for stakeholders to resolve this issue?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you once again, comrades, honorable colleague. Like I said earlier, there is no organization without crisis. There's no organization without disagreement. There's no organization without some infraction. But the truth of the matter is that Governor Pueblo is a leader that knows what to make it better. And wherever a crisis is cited or such things happen, you give it to it. And the party members from the world level, party leaders from world level to the national level, they are responsible leaders. And I can assure you that whatever is going on in OREDO is going to be resolved. Is there crisis? You cannot say there's no crisis. There are crises everywhere. Even husband and wife at home, they have crisis. So, but the issue here is that the crisis, whatever it is, or in any nature, will be resolved. That's just it. So I want to assure the Edo people, I want to assure Nigerians that the party APC is one and only indefatigable family, indivisible family, and every infraction that we might imagine, whoever addresses the press conference out of grievances, I believe by now the party leaders in Edo State, especially in OREDO, they are already on top of it, trying to ensure that everybody are one and indivisible people, and it will be resolved. So I won't agree with that there's no crisis. There's always crisis everywhere, but the ability for the party to prioritize these issues and resolve them is very important. When you talk about political appointment, who will not be angry, maybe who feel sidelined, and that's the right to say, express himself, but the way you express is also matters. So, but in any case, in the end of story of all this is that whatever it is, the crisis will be resolved. We are not like any other party who do not find their feet, who cannot resolve their crisis, who cannot resolve issues. Then we are APC. APC is the family, and all issues will be resolved. So this is my take. Thank you.
All right, now let's get straight down to where Derek is. Derek, an allegation leveled against the secretary, so to speak, of the APC that I hear from OREDO is that he's handpicking aspirants or candidates because they mentioned that, and that didn't go down too well with them. How do you think this should be fixed?
I didn't hear you clearly. Please, can you repeat?
Yes, there's an allegation also leveled against Lawrence Oka, that is the one hand-picking candidate, or will I say aspirant, because of, the timetable is almost out for local government elections. They're saying he's beginning to fiddle with the process to bring out his own candidate. And that is one of their, apart from lopsided appointments, they're talking about him single-handedly choosing or picking of candidates in the forthcoming local government election. How do you think this can be resolved, if there's any truth to this?
First of all, the primaries election to elect delegates into the local government election is not yet conducted. So to say he's picking candidates, I don't know about that. But what I want to say is to advise the Edo-speaking individuals to be mindful of this crab mentality, pulling down syndrome that has ravaged us for over the years and has weakened our political stance as a majority in Edo State electoral and political process. You will recall a few years ago that former Deputy Governor of Edo State, Right Honorable Pius Igberamo Dubu, was appointed as the NDDC chairman. It was a Benima that wrote a petition and even, I think, went as far as going to court to ensure that that appointment did not see the light of the day, which is the former governor of Edo State. You will recall that, when the Benin-speaking individuals, some of them also continued to kick against the appointment of some Benin-speaking individuals like Tony Kabaka, Ibo Stone, and some other individuals, that why should the government, engage them, in an economic process, in the revenue generating process, or in the public works volunteer process. They continue to kick against it until a little mistake that happened in the case of Ibo Stone led to the suspension of his job. And that of Tony Kabaka, recently the appointment have been withdrawn. Tony Kabaka, Shaba, what have you. The appointment have been withdrawn. And as soon as this was done, these same individuals were very happy. They were glad that, food have been removed from a Benin man's mouth. So the Benin people, we, the Benin-speaking people, should be very careful on how we continue to reduce ourselves. So that it will not become a crystallized ideology that the Benima will always fight against his fellow Benima with a view to ensuring that they do not benefit from a process that they were fully, involved in. So you will be surprised that some people might be jealous of the leadership of Lawrence Oka, and to the extent that they just want to rub him in the mud. You'll be surprised, because this particular issue in question is not an issue that is likely to cause crisis. If the people perceive that there's lopsidedness in appointment process, they will consult the leadership of the party. But have you ever heard any ASA person coming out to say the appointment is lopsided in ASA land? Go and do your research. You'll be surprised that a lot of the appointment that is coming from the ASA land is coming from one local government. But did you hear anybody, lamenting or coming online? No. So this is becoming like a trend in the Edo South senatorial district to put down their leaders, to ensure that they reduce their leaders so that their clout and their value, will be reduced. So they said that this same leadership will not be able to fight for its people when the time comes from them to speak their voice. So we have to be very careful not to allow this kind of situation to degenerate into or to because seeing that the Benin people are this way, we must fight against it by all means.
I'll definitely come back to that. Let's move on to where Aras is. Aras, you've heard Derek. He said this might just be as a result of jealousy and these tribal sentiments amongst the same, or within rather, the same tribe. Take it up from there.
Thank you very much, Wilson. Well, definitely I will align with Mr. Derry in some aspect, because really it has become a story that the Benin people are not united. We like to spoil ourselves. Because if you look at the whole crisis going on too, because of the jobs we just mentioned a while ago, it was true lies, 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 lies. This one will go and lie against the other one go and lie against the other one, then become a crisis to themselves that will consume the whole of themselves, I think it is not a good thing on that aspect. Then when we talk about handpicking candidacy, for me, for now, I have not seen such a situation happening, that General Loresoka is handpicking the candidates. He has a candidate that comes from his own ward that want to contest for a chairmanship. We have a candidate that is those are contesting for councillorship. We all have our own as well. Some other ward have produced a chairmanship candidate, 2 aspirants. So, and the time will come where primary is going to take place. I think advice will also come. It is going to be censorship. It is going to be on agreement. But first and foremost, we also know that there are some groups at the moment that also agitating that the first right of refusal to those that contested during the electoral process don't persecute, because those people were intimidated and they spend their money, they spend their funds, they took the mind to stand for the party. I think those groups too, advocating in that direction, might also have an interest in this kind of a matter going on. I'm just assuming, I'm not aware, but if you look at what they said and the way they are speaking, you will know they are feeling that, okay, why is he bringing Gabros right now? Yes, Gabriel is a party member. He has a right to aspire any position in the party. So whether it's from Lorenzo's Oka ward or each any other ward, he has a right. Good. People might be believing because the party secretary is from his ward, he might have a little bit more advantage. Well, I said earlier before that we have had situations that leaders were fully in support of a particular aspirant before primaries. They consume all of us to believe that that person should be who we should vote for when we get there that day. But we saw what happened at the field. Majority of the leaders that thought they were going to vote for the person the leader has advised us to vote for, failed the leaders and vote who their choice they felt was the right choice, So it can still happen to any leader that is trying to still subject an aspirant or candidate upon the people. The time has gone for that. I think if a such thing is going to happen, it's going to be on a stakeholders meeting, that there's a general agreement from everybody that this candidate is who we have agreed on to go for us. If it comes in that situation, I think there will be no crisis, there will be no problem. The fear of imposition, sometimes people might not understand the gravity behind it, because there are people who believe they have suffered for the party too. They have the right to contest, and you are not sidelining them. I think it doesn't make sense. Give everybody the right to aspire. It is their due right. If they have the finance to push themselves, they should go ahead and do that. On the day of the primaries, the people will always decide. So if some even have grievances, as I said earlier, Engineer Lorisonka is a listening man. There are sometimes you go to his house, you see people feed up there that comes with their complaint early at 7 o'clock in the morning in his private house. He will still come out, attend to everybody, and still go to the office, and people will still be in the office waiting for. So if such a person can sacrifice even his own private time to attend to issues, from different wards, from different local governments. Sometimes I even see people from Mesako, from Esan, you know. So the man takes his time. So let us, the party members, try to understand the man, Lawrence Oka, as a father, as a leader that can be discussed with, that can resolve issues, not see him like a man that cannot be getting close to because he's very mighty. And I know he's a mighty man. He has the power as the number one leader of OREDO, but also he's a man that have an open doors to everybody. I want people to understand that point. People saying people are sponsoring people to hold conference. My dear brother, it might not even be anybody sponsoring anybody. I myself can use my own finance to bring out a conference, and say, look, I am aggrieved at so point, I'm aggrieved at so things that our leaders are doing. It is my due right to do that. But I believe there are internal mechanisms to resolve issue before going to the public. So let them use the internal mechanism. As I earlier said, advise the leaders of the house, leaders of the party, call a stakeholder meeting, a big stakeholder meeting involving most of the leaders of the OREDO, and let everybody be able to speak their mind. Let the issue be resolved. I think OREDO is one, and it will remain one. And those states is
All right,
one.
thank you.
And
Thank
the
you.
party is one, and we will remain united.
Well,
This
thank
is
you
just
so
grievances
much.
that's been brewing,
Thank you so
and those
much,
grievances will be
Prince Samuel. Thank you so much, Prince Samuel. Well, you've heard him. It's all about the glaring, adorable quality of the secretary, Lawrence Oka, that is a man anybody can approach, that you can go to him and speak your mind. I know that he's going to give you positive response to resolve the issue. Now, to commence our dissent in this particular discussion, a word of advice to the troubled, I'll say, okay, fine, the troubled fraction, so to speak, because for a group of person to come out to say this is where it hurts, something needs to be done about it. I'm not saying you are not hurting, the man is not doing anything wrong. These are reports we got. It was on air on our news, so I have to talk about it. It's an issue for us to deliberate on. So what advice do you have, Joseph?
Okay, fine. For me, I want to advise the APC to tread with caution because the local government election that they're about to conduct will be a litmus test for the party. It will either make it or break it. And also, party faithfuls, politicians, should also learn to exhaust internal mechanism. You understand? In activism, you have 3 C's. You say you consult, you consolidate before you confront. So they should not just go to the media space to address press conferences. But we also do not know if these same people or these same persons have already written several letters to the same secretary to address these abnormalities. We may not know. But I think that is the right way to go. There should be a procedure to engage with the secretary at first. Now, if these issues are no longer, they cannot be settled on that platform after engaging with the secretary secretly, you understand, or privately, then before you can go into doing a world press conference of that manner. But for my brother to say that that conference, an individual can, to me, that is not true. The magnitude, the kind of conference those people did, there's no smoke without fire. So people are funding them. There is a crisis that is about to come up within the APC. And the APC, they must provide leadership, especially the governor and the party secretary. I've seen the way the governor has been able to use appointments to checkmate some of this. If you see the issue in Ovia, he was able to at least remedy that by giving 2 commissioners. I know it is the same situation that would have snowballed in Oriono. That was how he gave 2 commissioners to Oriono too. So I think the governor is trying to manage it. But for me, the people will suffer because the resources in funding these offices, where will he get it from? That should not be the issue, because that's my concern as a civil society activist. It's not about your crisis in your party. It's about delivering the dividends of democracy to our people, because these political offices come with a lot of baggages and all that. So where are we getting the funding to do all that?
Right. Thank you so much, Joseph. Well, Dr. Andrew, I used to say that there's no crisis. What advice do you have for this press? Because for there to be a conference, more than 2 media houses were invited. Anyway, advise those people?
Well, there's no crisis in APC. APC,
OREDO.
OREDO, APC Edo State is united, and kudos to Senator Monday Okpebolo, who has actually, in no small measure, stabilized the party, provided the needed leadership for the party, and then the party actually is well positioned for victory in subsequent elections. And for Lawrence Oka, he is a leader, he's a father, and he has continued to play that role right from the days of Grace Group. And so nobody can take that away from him. And he continues to play that role of a stabilizer in OREDO local government. If there are people that are aggrieved, all they need to do, instead of sponsoring non-members of the party to go and hold press conference, they should approach Lawrence Oka, who has a very listening ear and a large heart, and discuss with him. But in any case, I still maintain that there's no imposition anywhere. You did allow me talk about the Gabriel situation. And I'm saying that Gabriel himself has a right to aspire. He has been a leader of the party, he has been a pillar of the party in OREDO. In fact, when OREDO APC was experiencing what you call a downturn, people like Gabriel stood strong and continued to fund the party, funded the party, and ensured that the party in OREDO local government did not go into oblivion. And if somebody like that now says, I want to contest, because he's from the same ward with Lawrence Oka, automatically it's Lawrence Oka that is sponsoring him. They are forgetting that even the man himself won the party primaries, as a member. He told the answer, I'm coming. I'm not campaigning. I'm not campaigning.
If like into a campaign,
I'm saying that the man won the ticket for the House of Assembly. What do you also makes you feel that he doesn't have the capacity to win the ticket for already local government? If they are afraid, they should quit being afraid and go to the field and contest for the party's ticket.
We're not here to campaign. It's not your time for that. Okay, well, I know that Fred has been on the advisory side, resolve. So in 1 minute, Fred, what advice do you have for them?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for today, my respected comrade. I want to advise the leadership of the party in OREDO particularly. I know our party secretary, Lawrence Oka, as a student in Ambosali University. I have been seeing him then. I was seeing him with the governor, then looking to meet and all that. He's a leader that I know for a very long time. And whenever the crisis is, I would advise that those who feel aggrieved should actually give room for reconciliation, because development can only thrive in a place that there is peace. So I advise strongly that they should pursue the path of peace so that development can come to OREDO and not vilifying anybody and causing crisis or trying to pull down anyone. It's not a healthy, that's not a healthy policy. This is my advice. Let there be peace, and the leadership of the party, they are capable of resolving this matter, whatever it is in OREDO local government. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Fred. Let's move on to Derek. Derek, your advice, please, so I can go to the next discussion.
Well, my advice is for the Edo-speaking people to unite, to have cohesion, to do things in common. They should stop antagonizing each other. They should stop fighting their leaders. Because when somebody says that the juju in his village is very weak, he has already told people that the juju does not have level. When something gets missing, he will not have anything to instill fear, so that that item that got missing can be, returned back to him. So we must continue to respect our leaders. We have, by the grace of God, we have a national woman leader position of APC given to an Edo South woman. I expect all the women of APC to accord that due respect, so that in turn, people outside will see that, yes, this woman, she's good to go. Because when a masquerade wants to dance, it first starts from the home. We have a senator representing Edo South Senatorial District. in the person of Senator Senator Barrister Neda Imasre, I expect the Edo people to accord him the due respect, and also speak well of him, so that in turn there's a way this serve as a booster to leadership, so that wherever the leader is, he will be able to also exert his clout, his goodwill, to also be able to attract the dividend of democracy back home. But if we continue to put down our leaders to say, who are you, organizing press conferences here and there, an issue that can be resolved, with a sit-down situation, you are going to organize press conferences, then you are weakening yourself. Because I'm seeing Benin people as one indivisible body. So by the time the mouth says the hand is no good, and the hand is part of the body, and eventually the hand will not be able to put food into the mouth, when the need arises. So this is my take on the issue. We must come together and work together for the betterment of the Edo South.
Thank you so much. Aras, your word of advice in 1 minute, please.
Thank you very much, Wilson. Well, I've advised a lot already in the process of my discussion. I think we should learn to use internal mechanism to resolve our issues. That is the best way. That is why they are available in the party constitution before we start taking some uncalled for actions. Like the conference, I'm totally not in support of it, because I believe such issues must first be tried to be resolved, because if such has happened before, I think they would have also made mention of that.
You heard what he said. He said he's not in support of the conference. That was the last comment made before we had that network issue. But come on, 3 C's. Yes, the 3 C's must be adhered to before the last C confrontation. Have you consulted? Did you consolidate? Trouble may come up eventually, but what are the mechanisms put on the ground to resolve this? We are all in Edo State. We are all Edo State citizens, and the good governance is what you're craving for. But a particular sect or group of persons are aggrieved, it should be looked into. It should be looked into. Remember, if there is trouble and saying there is no trouble, that may just grow and engulf the particular system. It's not right for us to start throwing punches, throwing jabs and all that. Peace needs to reign for us to gain or have or anticipate good governance. Just to let you know, the comment of our analysts entirely theirs. It has nothing to do with ITV. We brought up topics that are topical for them to really discuss.